welcome everyone to the Warriors in Business podcast. I'm Jordan, one of the hosts for this show, and we are delighted and excited to have another interview today with a fellow military veteran and business owner. We are excited to be talking to Gerald Young today, the owner of Young G's Barbecue Sauce. He is going to share some awesome things about his business and how he got into becoming an entrepreneur, along with some valuable insights and wisdom being a business owner that you're going to learn a whole lot about today. So I want to introduce everyone here first and foremost. Gerald, how are you, sir?
Good morning, Gerald Young. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, we love that you came onto the show today, and we're excited to talk to you about a ton of different things. So as well, I have my co-host Todd with me. Todd, how you doing over there?
Doing fantastic, and we're talking barbecue sauce today, which is right up my alley, so I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, yeah. Especially as native Texans, we love our barbecue sauce, so this should be a great conversation.
Absolutely.
Here. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, Gerald, before I dive into some of the things we're going to talk about, I first and foremost want to thank you for your service to our country. Thank you for your sacrifice to keep our communities safe and free. We are honored and privileged for your service to our country.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. Gerald, why don't you tell us a little bit about your service background and then what led you to transitioning from military to civilian life and eventually becoming an entrepreneur?
Well, great question. I served over in Afghanistan 2003 after the 9/11, and I was out in Bagram Air Force Base and for 10 months up there in Afghanistan, and I worked with several other parts of the United States on behalf of protecting our country. Uh, Five of us was in a group or a pack, and we end up getting injured over there. And as I decided, throughout the time of being there, I wanted to come back home and become a detective. Throughout, because of my service-connected injuries, I no longer could because of the PT physical fitness of my body would not allow that. So I talked to my dad. My dad been making barbecue sauce for the family for over 20 years, for the family and also my uncle. He was the chief of police of University Park, Illinois, and my dad never responded to me, but he surprised me and flew in from Illinois to Walter Reed while I was recovering and gave me the family secret recipe, thanking me for serving our country. And that was a great gift from him and my mom.
That's awesome.
Yeah, what an awesome gift.
Yes.
Yeah, to be handed the family secret
So from
recipe.
there, yes. I mean, I was excited about it, and I took it from there. And from there, I want to share with all my veterans out there that the programs is, vocational rehab. We all have opportunity to sign up for vocational rehab for state and federal to start our business, for us to move forward in life with our ideal of becoming entrepreneurs. And vocational rehab really helps us veterans to stick with it and to move forward with the ideals that we have. So I joined in the state and federal vocational rehab, and they was very supportive of me, and I've been at this for 13 years.
Wow.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
So, Gerald, just question: when you signed up for that, and that's great advice, by the way, for for your fellow MVFRs, fellow veterans, I should say specifically. What things did you actually do? Like, what did that really, high level? What did that encompass? Those experiences through those both state and federal programs, vocational programs.
Well, the state and federal programs was very supportive of my challenges of learning how to start a business and what are the things that I need to know how to continue on with my business. And there's another Wounded Warrior program, and this is all for my fellow veterans that's out there. It's called the Wounded Warrior Program with Bob Woodrow Foundation. That that foundation is housed out of Syracuse University, where wounded veterans they send to school for them to become better entrepreneurs within their ideals of business. I graduated from Purdue University. They sent me to Purdue University because I'm in the Midwest, and that was a very intense learning course for us to continue on within our endeavors. I I did graduate in 2010. Purdue University is called Krennic School of Business for Business Management,
Oh, very
and they
good.
pay for our education. Yeah, they pay for our education and then let us know that this is something that we need to pay very attention to and to work hard at and continue on, with what they're doing for us. I From there I end up with vocational rehab after graduating from Purdue University.
Okay.
I met with our governor here in the state of Iowa, which became our ambassador for under the Trump administration, and he shared with me to get into the capital of Iowa, which is Des Moines, because I
Hmm.
have a great product. From there, my product has spread it throughout the state of Iowa, and also having connections with Walmart. I'm After learning from Purdue University how they was pretty much millionaires throwing it at us, teaching us, go, let's go. This is what we need to do. This is how we need to market it. This is how we need to keep up with our sales and margin.
Yeah.
And so I use that education for me to continue on with. And we as military, we don't start something and never finish it. We are very persistent.
Yeah.
So I am here standing with Young G's right now, and it's a great product. I'm very happy about how I put it together of changing the ingredients that my dad basics ingredients has given me. And so I continue on with it where it's gluten free, no high fructose corn syrup, and low in sodium. This is a great condiment that we all in this generation and the generations to come to really eat healthy within our condiment sector.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
have
it
two.
definitely needs
I
that.
have three. Go ahead. Go ahead. I have three products out now. If you go on to Shop My Exchange, AFES, the Army Air Force Exchange, you'll see Young G's barbecue sauce, presidential barbecue sauce, and also Young G's salad dressing. One thing I can share with my fellow Americans, veterans, service members, that this is a great way to enjoy your life with you working for you to make a difference in America. And I
Yes.
really enjoy
Yeah.
every bit of it.
Yeah. That's awesome. Oh, we love hearing all that. I wanted to just ask a point of clarification. So, did you launch Young G's barbecue sauce when you were still at Purdue and then going through the vocational rehab, or did you do it after those experiences?
I did it after my education.
After your
I
education.
did it
Okay.
right after my education. But that was my business ideal to put the family secret recipe on the market. Because I said, Dad, I want to share this with not only the United States but around the world. I traveled to China 3 times with former governor, U.S. Ambassador Terry Branstad, on behalf of getting Young G's into China because Young G's has tamarind in it. tamarind is a citrus.
Right.
Asians really enjoy tamarind.
Hmm.
And I've been over there 3 times and looking forward to returning this year in September to work with big supermarket company distributors over there, which is one I was very close of getting a container load out until we, as our congressional leaders, our former, leader of the United States, slapped the tariffs on China. But that's okay. I mean, that's we're a strong company, and I redirect my attention back to those guys as we speak today.
That's
Gotcha.
awesome. I've got to
Yeah.
ask something. Sorry, Jordan. So you went from hearing the story, some listeners might think, man, you went from 0 to 60 in like 5.8 seconds.
Yeah.
How did you start from, okay, I'm going to share my family's, secret recipe with the world to all of a sudden now I'm selling on Walmart, online and, in with the government and like you're getting it in all these places, your distribution, your sales, how did that's a big, I don't know how big of a gap that is, but are there any, things that you can kind of point to, one or two strategies that you can share with the audience that, okay, you figure out how to make your family's secret recipe in a bigger way. So you have to have the production side of it. And then you have to have distribution side, right? You can make all the sauce you want in the world, but people have to buy it. So how did you get
That's
that
correct.
into Walmart and get it? How did you break that ice and start getting that customer acquisition and that those marketing efforts? What's your? You gave us the
Good
secret sauce
question.
of your barbecue sauce. Now you got to give us the secret sauce of your marketing strategies.
That's right.
Well, and this is great. A great question. I really enjoy that. I I was taught through, the school in Purdue University, the Krennic School of Management. We were taught you can't do it all. You must contract it out. And it was very important that they stressed that to us because when you start a business, you don't want your business to burn you out. You want to
Right.
be able to continue on with your business. So what I did, I built a team. I'm my own broker. Okay, I have a CPA, I have attorney for life, and I like to share this with all my fellow veterans that's out there that we have attorneys for life through the DLA Piper, which is called DLA Piper. It's all attorney offices throughout the United States and around the world if we need them on behalf of injured veterans, entrepreneurs. So this is something I love to share. I'm going to continue to share with all my fellow veterans, injured veterans that's out there.
Yeah.
That's great advice.
And yeah, and continue on with the question. I'm very persistent. And what I did, I reached out. My marketing director, I had him. Now he's my assistant, but I had him. Let's start marketing Young G's. Let's make labels. I picked out my own labels. I went to the co-packers test kitchen, and what we did, we tested making Young G's. Took me 7 hours to get it the way I wanted it, where it be
Oh wow.
healthy, distinct taste. And so we did measurements on how we're gonna run 100 gallon vessels, how much we need to put in the 100 gallon vessels of each product that we grow. And that's how we started that. And from there we hit the mark. Um, I let vocational rehab know that I am ready, and they supplied me with product. They supplied me with equipment from my office. They supplied me with whatever I needed to get going with getting that product out there on the market. I was very pleased with my marketing director, so I started myself calling on these stores, calling on these merchandisers, corporate offices on behalf of Young G's. Don't get me wrong, it's been challenging. You get a lot of no's, but there's a yes gonna come.
Yeah.
There's a yes,
There
and
you
I
go.
I
That's
stress
right.
that to everyone.
Yeah.
There is a yes. You have to stay persistent,
Yeah.
and your business your ideal. This is your vision. This is, and I'm sharing with all my fellow Americans, my veterans, my first responders. Stick to your vision, and this is how I continue on. So, as calling on these, it took me 5 years to get in Walmart because through corporate, I drove all the way to Bentonville, Arkansas to meet with the buyers, which we call merchants. I called on my local stores, which I'm in like 67 of my 70 of my local stores here in the state of Iowa.
Yeah.
40 Walmart stores in the state of Iowa, and I'm shipping to Walmart Fulfillment Center. I keep calling on these corporate offices, letting them know my product. You have to let them know what make your product different from others. That's gonna be a success out here in the United States. Me, I'm like Taco Bell. I think outside the box. I want my product moving in other countries.
I like it.
Yeah, y'all guys, I've enjoyed every bit of this.
Well, it
But
certainly
that's
sounds like it. Yeah,
yes,
it
but that's
certainly
what's
sounds like it.
important. And that's what's important, guys. I mean, I just, and I share this with all my fellow veterans and first responders. I mean, guys, if I can do it, I know you guys can do it as well. And if there are any questions that's needed, please feel free to contact me. Todd and Jordan will they have my info, and any challenges that you're facing, just contact me. Maybe I can help. I'm pretty sure I can get you through it.
Yes, and as Gerald said, we will include the means by which you can get in contact with him in the podcast description, so you'll be able to see that on the various platforms that you're listening to for this podcast right now. I am so encouraged right now, Gerald. That was awesome to hear. It just about how persistent you were to sticking to your vision, and it took time, but you were aggressively patient in that way, but yet still persistent, even when even if things weren't working out right away, but you still kept with it. And so even I'm fired up right now, man. You got me going good. I love hearing things like this. So this
Yeah.
is no, it's very encouraging. I want to shift gears just a little bit, and ask you a different question, because one of the main responses that we have gotten from talking with military veterans and first responder business owners, whether it's face to face or some various surveys that we've done over the years to understand those business owners in the marketplace, is access to capital. It's been one of the top challenges for these entrepreneurs to find legitimate means to access capital for starting up their business and then for growing it and scaling it in the years to come afterwards. So can you talk about that a little bit? What was your experience in access to capital, in the beginning, and then did you obtain more capital as time went on? Talk to us about that part of it.
Good question. Access to capital is very challenging. I can share with my fellow veterans and first responders to go after SBA, Small Business Administration,
Okay.
in your state. They have great programs that will help you far as getting capital from them. We you also have, they call angels, which is investors. That was a challenge with me on behalf of going after angels from the beginning. And I do my presentation. I let them know exactly how the product is different from other products, and you get turned down. And I discovered, I said, well, there is some programs out here for us. And the Small Business Administration, I went after those guys. I went after those guys, and those guys had really set me down and shared with me that, well, Gerald, we do have programs. We have, and they also have grants. And I share with my fellow veterans and first responders. It's the Small Business Administration. They have loan programs. You have the whatever state you're in, the economic support, business support centers. Also here we have, and Iowa, and I'm sure you have in other states, it's called the economic development authorities,
Okay.
which they have grants and loan programs that will support you in your business and when it comes to capital.
That's awesome. By the way, some of those resources that you have mentioned are on our Join Bravery. It's join bravari.com. That's the Bravery Marketplace. We have a resources page on that, and several of the things you mentioned today are listed on that resources page, which is great information. But I think there's a couple of new ones that you may have brought to our attention and that we may not have on there. So certainly, after the podcast, we want to Jordan will make sure and get with you just to kind of after he looks at our page and compares with the ones that you mentioned today. Anything that's net new that you've mentioned, we definitely want to have on that resources page, because these things that you're talking about, Gerald, are extremely important, and I think you've gone
Yeah.
into a lot more depth than anybody we've interviewed so far. And I just think that that's great, resourceful, pardon the pun, information, for existing MVFR entrepreneurs and or aspiring ones. So thank you for sharing all of that. I got to go back and take you back just for a second. Okay, when in my career over the last 30 plus years, and being on the sales side of things, entrepreneur, fintech, payments, all of that, I always looked at when I went after a business plan and went after a customer, or designed, I should say, a customer acquisition strategy. I always looked at things and still look at things in terms of a blueprint, like a blueprint on a house when you build a house. And you have to have the foundation, you have to have the electrical and the framing and the roofing and all that. Well, anyway, all that to say that when it comes to creating those strategies, part of that also is you have, when you kind of think of a pyramid, the top of the pyramid is the top 5 to 10%. The middle of the pyramid is the next 10 to 15%. And the whole rest of it is the majority. And that's the small, medium, and large size businesses. Okay. The top of the pyramid are the largest ones, the medium size, that next middle tier are the medium sized businesses. And the majority of businesses in the US or excuse me, are the small businesses. So here you are creating your, had a vision, acted on your vision. You want to get this healthy barbecue sauce, healthy, great tasting barbecue sauce out to the world. And then you had to have, at some point, you had to say, okay, I'm going to start calling people like you shared with us. But again, I got to go back to Walmart. I mean, Walmart has its own challenges when you land a large reseller like that, retailer like that, because of, I can't imagine all the restrictions or minimums and all of the the red tape, if you will, on dealing with that and keeping up with the product and having to accept returns and all of that mess. But you still landed them. Okay, so I
Yeah.
know people are thinking what I'm thinking, which is, how in the heck did you land Walmart when you took this family secret barbecue sauce and all of a sudden you land where land Walmart? How did you do that?
Well, they have programs out there. It's called Range Me. I don't know if you guys familiar with that. It's called Range Me, where you can
Range
upload
me.
your information. Yeah, Range Me. Yep, RANGEME, where you can upload
Okay.
your program, upload your information, your product or the business service that you have within your business, and that's where corporate buyers, corporate merchants look at Range Me on behalf of your company. And so from there, I had an opportunity with Walmart. And here's another thing I like to share with all my fellow veterans and first responders, that Walmart is really looking for veteran-owned businesses. There's a great opportunity that they're opening the doors for veteran and first responder-owned business or service that we do have for them. And you can set up an appointment with Walmart, well, Merchant Walmart in Bentonville, Arkansas. I'll share with any and all of you guys that you go after these guys on Bentonville, Arkansas. Just look up Walmart corporate or get on. And here's the thing, guys.
Right.
You have to get on their portal. It's called a portal. You got Target portals, you got Walmart portals. Upload your business information on their portals, and that give you full exposure to what these merchants is looking for. You become that exposure to these merchants, and that will help you move forward within the corporate world out here.
That's awesome advice. That's really,
Yes.
really cool. Very
Yes.
cool. And by the way, just full transparency to the audience. So I actually did personally go online to the Walmart site and bought a a jar of Young's barbecue sauce. And so, being a Texas native my entire life and a barbecue sauce connoisseur and snob to an extent, I cannot wait to actually open that up and taste it with my on the next brisket or smoked chicken or grilled chicken dinner. So I'm going to be letting you know, Gerald. All right, what what I think of that. So it sounds like you got tough skin. So I'm a tough
Yes,
customer,
sir.
man. But I
I'm
love a good
excited. I'm
barbecue sauce. So I'm
excited for
looking forward to
you.
that.
Yeah.
I'm very excited
I
for
love
you,
that
for you
confidence. I love
guys.
that
Yeah.
confidence.
Yeah. We're about to
But
open a
you know,
bottle of joy and enjoy it.
yeah.
Yes,
You know what
yes.
you said something though that's actually really true, Gerald, and that is the condiments. Like Jordan is he's in on the side he's a nutritionist, certified nutritionist. So our whole family is all about being healthy and eating healthy. And condiments, we love condiments. The Americans and just people love condiments, but most of that crap is just full of junk and high fructose
Right.
corn syrup and all that kind of stuff. Not getting on a total health rabbit hole here, but you're right. It is so many of the condiments are so bad for us. So I love the fact that we're taking a one that's dear to my heart or my stomach, I should say, my taste buds, barbecue sauce, and actually making it healthy. So thank you for doing that, for helping bring
Yes.
a healthy alternative in a crowded market already, to the marketplace. So I hope that I hope that the people that listen to this and I hope your message continues to resonate with people all around the country and all around the world, and that that you just continue to have boom and success. So, and we can't wait to
Yes.
have you in the the Bravery Marketplace and get you listed as soon as we do our official coming soon official launch. So we're looking forward to that too.
Thank you all. If I may add, the congressional, they running for president here, the first thing they do is come to Iowa. And actually, I am going after, here's another thing for my fellow veterans and military families and first responders. It's very important to go after our congressional leaders on behalf of what is it that we are making to make a difference in our country. And that's what I'm doing to get this barbecue sauce in the Deca Commons series. We already launched on the Army Air Force Exchange where you can purchase this off AFES. And so that one of the challenges that I'm facing right now with DECA. And there's a system out there called AC Nelson Data System with these big corporations is slowing veteran-owned small businesses down from getting in, not stopping, just slowing us down. So my goal is to go after
Mm.
my congressional leaders on behalf of those making the decisions around the United States. So whatever
Well,
challenges we
that's
face,
fantastic, and I think that's
yeah,
Yeah.
Lord, don't give up. Just keep fighting. Don't give up, and just go with the strategies of who's gonna change the decisions, who's gonna change this, because we got a program out here, and I can share with you all. It's called Veterans. It's called Set Aside, Veterans First Government Contracts. The Deca Commissary is not acknowledging that at this time. So the best thing for Young G to do, go after my congressional leaders, my senators, my congressmen, and whoever's in charge to acknowledge that this is it's a national security threat, not to feed our men and women in uniform a healthy condiment.
that's great. And
That is
again,
awesome.
it's the one thing we're excited that our Bravery Marketplace, whatever we're humbled to be able to serve military veteran first responder entrepreneurs and connecting them with military veteran first responder buyers, the consumers, the roughly 25 to 30 million around the country, starting out. Pardon me. And that's kind of our first goal. So we're really excited about that, and we hope to play our whatever humble role we can play in that, to connecting businesses just like yours, with military veteran first responder families around the country, while we're also bringing them some great financial rewards at the same time. So anything we can do to help you drive your sales and get your word out there and get your brand out there, we look forward to helping you with that as well. Jordan, I
Thank you
think you were
so
going to
much,
ask one
John.
last thing.
Yeah.
You
Yes,
betcha.
absolutely. So, Gerald, I wanted to ask you one of these last questions here, which was, and given you have provided us some incredible insight and wisdom that I know the listeners to this podcast are going to learn a whole lot from and take away some great things from. But I wanted to ask, what would you say, or what advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs? They have that idea. Maybe they have the equivalent of the family's secret recipe for the barbecue sauce, that's just been handed over to them or something like it. And they are wanting to get started with being an entrepreneur and being a business owner. What advice would you give to them?
And let me add something to that on what Jordan said. And maybe they don't have the secret sauce possibly either, but they just have that burning desire to be their own boss or do something where they're not, employed by someone else. So it could be either one of those. Yeah,
True.
It's a great question. It's an important question.
My advice to my fellow Americans, veterans, and first responders is take advantage of the programs that's in your state. There are programs there, the Small Business Administration, the the Economic Development Authorities, and those are programs that will help you move forward with your ideal for you starting your business. Once you connect with those programs that's out there for you, you can move forward within your the finances to help you with. So stay persistent. Don't give up. Just stay persistent and your vision. And so this is something I like that I'm sharing with all my fellow Americans. Just stay persistent.
Staying persistent. That is, yes, especially when it seems like things are not going your way, that's exactly when you need to continue pushing on and continue believing that you can make it happen. So that's,
and like you said, there's a yes coming. I love what you said earlier, Gerald. I've said that for years. It's a numbers game, right? If you have a good product or service that is a quality product or service, you will have yeses. And whatever your metrics are, you don't know what those are when you start out. It may be 1 out of 50 calls. It may be 1 out of 100. It may be 1 out of 200. Whatever it is, you have to break the ice. The hardest one to get is the very first deal, the very first sale that you get, first relationship. And then that consistency always leads to what I've always called paths of opportunity revealed, which means that you don't know those opportunities. You don't even know what they are until you just keep on keeping on. And then those opportunities will reveal themselves through sales and relationships and networking and other, future opportunities.
Yes.
And it's an amazing phenomenon, but it will happen. The consistency wins the race.
Yes. And be thankful for that one bottle that you sell after you done went through the programs. Be thankful for that one yes. If it's nothing but one bottle or one job of service that you did, be thankful because the rest is coming.
That's great advice.
That's beautiful. Absolutely. Well, Gerald, as we bring our time here to a close, this is your opportunity to plug your business and how people can get in contact with you. So where can people find you and how can they get in contact with you?
Well, Young G's is housed out of the state of Iowa, right here in the capital of Des Moines. If you like to try Young G's barbecue sauce, you can find it on Walmart.com. It's a great product for diabetics, celiac, high blood pressure. It's gluten-free, low sodium, no high fructose corn syrup. It also has tamarind in it. Tamarind is a good citrus fruit that's from Africa that our ancestors used to keep our immune system healthy. So let's start eating healthy when it comes to condiments. Walmart.com. You can find Young G's right out and stick up from the state of Iowa. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. Stay strong, stay persistent, and keep it moving.
That's right. Absolutely. Gerald, thank you so much for that. And it was an honor and a pleasure speaking with you today. For everybody listening to this episode of the Warriors in Business podcast, thank you for tuning in. Please like and subscribe to our channels on the various platforms, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and also on the warriorsinbusiness.com website as well. And lastly, please go to joinbravery.com. That's joinbravari.com to sign up for your free business listing. We are excited to be creating an online marketplace for military, veteran, and first responder businesses so that we can support those who have served us first. Gerald, it was an honor and pleasure speaking with you, sir. We are grateful for your time, and we look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thank you, Gerald.
Sounds good. Thanks, Jordan. Thanks, Todd. You guys are wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. And to everybody else, y'all be good and God bless.
My feet won't stop. And you'll see me